time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild, majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green, dark forest was too silent to be real. Well, time has no beginnings and history has no bounds. As to this verdant country they came from all around. They sailed upon her waterways and they walked the forest tall, built the mines, the mills, and the factories for the good of us all. And when the young man's fancy was turned into the spring, the railroad men grew restless for to hear the hammers ring. Their minds were overflowing with visions of their day, with many a fortune won and lost and many a debt to pay. They looked in the future and what did they see? They saw an iron road running from the sea to the sea, bringing the goods from a young growing land, all up from the seaports and in their hands. Look away, said they, across this mighty land, from the eastern shore to the western strand, bringing the workers that bring up the rails. We're gonna lay down the tracks and tear up the trails, open our heart and let the lifeblood flow. Gonna get on our way cause we're moving too slow. Bring up the workers and bring up the rails. We're gonna lay down the tracks and tear up the trails, open our heart and let the lifeblood flow. Gonna get on our way cause we're moving too slow. Bring up the workers, we're moving too slow. Blue Rockies, the sun is declining. The stars, they come stealing at the close of the day. Across the wide prairies, loved ones lie sleeping. God, the dark ocean in a place far away. We are the navvies who work upon the railway, swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun, living on stew bad whiskey, bending our backs till the long days are done. We are the navvies who work upon the railway, swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun. Laying down track and building the bridges, bending our backs till the railroad is done. So over the mountains and over the plains, into the muskeg and into the rain, up to St. Lawrence all the way to Gaspé, swinging our hammers and drawing our pay, firing them in and trying them down, away to the bunker and dark told. For there was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, and the wild, majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green dark forest was too silent to be real. When the green dark forest was too silent to be real. And many are the dead men, too silent to be real. Welcome to String Theory. Oh, boy. There's nobody here but me tonight. Chris is called away, Megan's called away at work. And tonight, we're going to celebrate the life of Gordon Lightfoot. And I couldn't think of a better crew of people to do it with. I want you to know I love all of you. And the kind of grief we're all experiencing right now needs to be shared with family. So I will gather my thoughts. Shit. Woo. And welcome you all to String Theory. All my partners, you know who you are, and I love you. Thank you for supporting us for nearly 4 years, going on 4 years now. And I couldn't think of a better place to raise a glass to Mr. Lightfoot, right here. So there you go, boys. Here we are. Here we are. We're good. We're going to make it. And I know I've been hearing from people all over the world who have been affected by Mr. Lightfoot's passing. And none more than me. And I shouldn't say that. I mean, he had a wife and kids and close family and friends and bandmates, and I think we're all hurting for all of them right now. But mostly we're a nation that's lost the biggest icon we ever had. You know, Gordon Lightfoot was a phenomenon. There's no other way to put it. He was the most successful artist in Canadian history. There is nobody who will ever even come remotely close to doing what he did, not only in the industry, but just as an artist. As an artist. I've struggled my whole life to pray to write one song as good as Gordon Lightfoot did, and I never did. And all of us who worshiped him and loved him and knew him, none of us did. It's impossible. Can't be done. I'm going to turn off the reverb, which I forgot to do. But as I said, I'm alone, so is what it is. But I want to thank you all for being here, and sorry I get all teary-eyed, but damn. That is the greatest song, in my opinion, that's ever been written, ever. Bar none. Nobody has ever written a song like that one. And so yeah, it's tough times around here this week. But I'm glad I'm here with you, and I'm glad we can all share it together. This is a special place to be, and I'm having a Sapporo. I do this in honor of Chris. I'm enjoying one right now. So, yeah, there you go. Anyhow, I love you, and I'm so glad you're with me tonight. It's a special night. We lost just a tremendous part of ourselves, and but the great thing about it is that that'll never go away, right? I spoke about it this morning in a Facebook post. His music is so much a part of who we are as Canadians, especially, and all the other people in the world, that were touched by his music and moved by what he did. It's never going to go away. It's never going to go away. The albums are still there. His voice is still there. His 12 string's still there. His 6 string's still there. All the things that he left for us because he loved us. He really loved us. He was I knew the man, and I knew him to be concerned with really only one thing. And that one thing was playing for us. That was it. That's all he cared. He really was only concerned with that one single item, that he got to go on stage as many times a year as he possibly could. And those times became fewer and fewer and fewer as he got older. And I mean, by God, he canceled a tour he was about to go on before he died, right? And he gave out. He gave out. He didn't die on the road. He didn't die of a heart attack or a stroke or a drug overdose or all those gross things that our heroes die of. He died of old age, and he died doing what he wanted to do, which was coming out on the road and playing for our benefit. That was what he did. And it's amazing. It's amazing to think about what his accomplishments were and what he left behind and the people that he built in this industry, like me, who he didn't even know existed until the man was in his 60s before he realized who I was. And that's how huge his life was and his career. I met him, when he was over 60 years old, and or just barely over 60. I mean, what a tremendous man. So, anyhow, we have tons of questions. I got everything set up here on the side. I know a lot of you are asking questions. We'll start with Derek Mosier. He gave us a super chat for a Lightfoot tune. Well, there's a good one there. That's about the biggest one you can find, I'll tell you right now. That was, unbelievable. That song was written in 1967. He was commissioned to write it, I believe, by the CBC for the centennial. And what did he do? He didn't write some, whatever, fluff. We're 100 years old, blah, 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 blah. He wrote an epic song with 3 movements, an epic song that not only told the story of how Canada was built. Canada was built because the railway went all the way from here to Vancouver. He encapsulated the entire heart of the birth of Canada in one song. One song. He didn't have to write a whole album. He didn't have to write. He put it together in 5.5 minutes. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Anyhow, I love you. I love you. I'm glad you're here with me tonight. And I'm kind of glad, even though I miss Ginger and Chris. And I know we're at the guitar stuff with John's station here at the Credenza. The table's in the background there, and I miss Chris and Ginger, but I'm glad I'm sharing this with you one-on-one because, you know, you guys have been my family for over 3 years, and I love you. Ted Whitmore, Gordon, me, one thing in common, gonna die on the job. My new song dedicated to Gore's tour dates left unsung, and I can claim I miss him most because I'm older than you. Ted, buddy, there's no, I don't even know what the word is. There's no, the club of people, right, who are emotionally and mentally attached to that man is huge. There's millions of us. I'm just one arsehole in Nova Scotia that did my thing. I'm nobody. There's so many of us that are thinking of him today. He just changed so many lives, and now that he's gone, we're truly starting to see how many that people that really was, and especially the people in the industry. It's been coming in from everywhere in the industry right now, all the way from Bob Dylan down. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, if I was 1% as successful as he was, I would die happy. Anyhow, Ted Whitmore, love you, buddy. Been with us for a long time. And Ted again says, by the way, last week's show was so awesome. Just needed to hear Robin play some. Robin's awesome. But Gunnings all were showstoppers, love and hugs. Yep. Robin Boucher is a brilliant guitarist. He's way undersung. He built this guitar for me. This guitar was very special. This is a very special guitar. It is a Boucher, as you can see, and its name, her name is Lightfoot, because he built this guitar so that I could have her to play the very first show ever done of Lightfoot material with full orchestra. I did a couple before the pandemic with Symphony Nova Scotia, and I'm proud to say that we're doing the show again next April. And matter of fact, the last time I talked to Gord's office just a few weeks ago was to tell him that it was happening, because he was so excited and so, God, he was happy. He was so happy. Nobody had ever done it before, and they still haven't. I'm the only one who's ever done a complete show of Lightfoot songs with full orchestra. And I'm telling you, Symphony Nova Scotia, there's no better band that you could possibly play with. They understand everything that you need to know, right, about that kind of music to pull it off. And they did it. And we're going to do it again in April at the Cohen in Halifax. We sold out 3 nights last time. We're going to sell out 4 this time. In honor of Gordon. Let's honor Gordy's name and music and get together next spring at the Cohen, the Rebecca Cohen in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I can't tell you how excited I am for it. Darren McMullen's already on board to play bass, because we call him Darren Stockfish, because he's the best fucking bass player ever. And he knows that old music like you can't tell the difference between him and Stockfish off the old albums. And it's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. So a big thing to look forward to. So moving on from Ted, let's see. Next we got there's so many people. Holy Christ! Looking for super chat. There we go. Jim Hanlon. Beautiful tribute, JP. Love you, brother. R.I.P. Mr. Lightfoot. There's another man right there, Jim Hanlon, who has been one of my heroes for 40 years nearly. I met the man when I was 19 or something. One of the best songwriters in Atlantic Canada has ever produced. And there you go. Another guy, right? It's scary. It's scary, the people that have been coming out over the last 48 hours talking about Lightfoot. Like, some people you wouldn't even expect, and they're there, and they're just, yeah, it is what it is. We all know what's happening, right? So Jeff Gallon, love you. I guarantee Gordon is looking down at you, and he's smiling because he's proud of being great friends with you and proud of what you've accomplished in life. Love you, brother. Big hug for you next time I see you, brother. Guaranteed, Jeff. I can only hope that Lightfoot would be proud of what I've done, and I know he was. You know, I know he loved the tribute album. I know that he told me that many times. And told millions of people he loved it, and but I think that if I was able to choose an attribute that Lightfoot had, it would be his. He had a quiet understanding of everyone, and you know, a lot like me and a lot of other artists in this business, he had regrets about the things that he had said and done when he was young, you know, and I do too. And if you've watched my Life in Music series, you'll know that. When I was young, I was headstrong and crazy, and I hurt people's feelings, you know. And Lightfoot said the same thing about himself. He regretted it, and I'm getting there myself. I feel bad about some of the things I said and did around people, and but when you're young and full of piss and blue vinegar, that's what you end up doing, you know. So another way that, you know, Lightfoot at 84, 30 years older than me, I'm paying close attention to the things that he said before he passed, you know, and all of us should. We should all be kinder and gentler and more willing to, you know, to get along. The last thing I saw him say in an interview was, I'm going to be happy the rest of my life. And just be happy. What a great thought, right? Don't worry about anything else. Just be happy. And being happy means that you're kind to other people all the time. You don't ever let your anger or your whatever, your envy, your ego, your whatever that is, don't let none of that come into play, right? Let's all just be good to each other. That's the bottom line. David Harris sent a super chat. Thank you, David. And a nice emoji. You are amazing. There's a little, like a dancing bean. Thank you, David. I love you. Thank you, buddy. Jamie Reed. Where else better to learn about Mr. Lightfoot's life music but here? Beautiful intro to the show. Thanks, JP. R.I.P. Gordon Lightfoot. Thank you, Jamie. I love you, buddy. Brian Camo sent a super chat. No comment, but maybe it's somewhere else, but I might run into it. Thank you, Brian. Dennis Graff. I have seen so many tributes to Gordon in the last day This is one. This one is the only one that has reduced me to tears. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't. I swore to God, to myself, and to Gordy. I've literally listen. I've been sitting here for an hour listening to Lightfoot records in order from the first one to the last. I'm only on the third one. And I swore to Gord in my head, I said, I ended up listening to the trilogy because it's on the second album, The Way I Feel. And I was listening to it and I started to cry and I was like, I'm going to get through it, Gordy. I promise you I will make it. But I didn't make it. I probably needed more Sapporo. I should have enjoyed some right then. Yeah. I couldn't make it. I'm sorry. My special circumstances. Fight me. On we go. Scott Wilcox. Thank you, JP, for your sincerity, talent, and heart. You embody the same virtues and bring about the same feelings in us as Gord did. Love you and Gord too. Thank you, buddy. I can only hope to ever do anything that would remotely reflect on people's lives that Gordy did. We're all just kind of sucking hind tit. You know what I mean? It is what it is. We love it. It isn't a bad thing to be less than Lightfoot because we all are. All artists, especially in this country, had him and still will always have him on a pedestal because he was so fucking good. There's just no way around it. You can't say it any other way. He was the best. He was the best writer, the best performer, the best ambassador for Canadian talent. And he kicked down door after door after door after door for people like me, arseholes like me. I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to make money. I wouldn't have made shit if Lightfoot hadn't have done it and gone ahead of us and made it possible. And don't ever forget that. If you're a musician out there, don't ever forget why the doors are open. Because they're open because of Gordon Lightfoot. They're open because of Ian Tyson and Sylvia. They're open because of a bevy of musicians that came out of this country in the 60s. Joni Mitchell, oh my God, there's a lot of them. Neil Young. They came out of this country and they absolutely obliterated all the walls that were in front of everyday Joe Blow arseholes like me who wanted to make a living playing music. They made us, they validated us, and they always will. It doesn't matter if they're living, dead, what they are. Those people created a level playing field for guys like me and thousands of other people like me in this industry, in this country. And I suspect even in the United States, there were artists validated by the success that Lightfoot had, right? Look at the hits he created for people. Peter, Paul, and Mary. Oh my God. There's so many. His song, we were looking at the math on, I think it was just, If You Could Read My Mind was covered over 300 times. 300 times. That song was recorded, covered, released by a label, by some other artist than Gordon, right? How much is that worth? It's unbelievable. And that's just one song. If you look at the other ones, like Early Morning Rain, Ribbon of Darkness, there's a bevy of them. all cut and released by people who made their entire careers off of that, right? Built on the back of Lightfoot, who was brought into the business by the Tysons, Ian Tyson and Sylvia. Without them, we may never have known Lightfoot. But Ian believed in him. Sylvia believed in him. You know what I mean? That's a magic thing in this business. Never discount anyone. If you believe in somebody, that has a rightful place in the industry, in the pantheon, don't give up on them. Stay on it. Stay on it. Help them all you can. That's basically been my mantra for my entire career, and I've tried to help a lot of people in this business. And that's why, because I realized that I wouldn't have had Lightfoot. I wouldn't have had all kinds of artists if somebody else in the business hadn't gone, damn, we should help that fella. He's doing cool shit. So there you go. Awesome. Thanks, Scott. Colin Dolan, If You Could Read My Mind, is one of my favorites. Mine too. I actually thought about that song tonight because I've never sang it. I never learned it. I'm going to have to do it. The last thing I promised Gord was that I would make the Long River Volume 2, which is going to be another 18 of his songs. And honest to God, I'm going to have to do that one. I mean, holy shit. There's a bunch of them I'm going to have to do. And a bunch that you might not ever think of that I'm going to do. But I'm going to have to do that one, Carefree Highway, Edmund Fitzgerald, Cotton Jenny. There's so many. Just so many. So many. But that one, for sure. It was his biggest song. Michael Easter. Lightfoot's music, lyrics, and recordings are not just beautiful, they are unassailable. We all thought of you right away, JP, sending hugs. Cheers, buddy. Love you. And you're exactly right. Unassailable is a great word. Ralph Procia. I don't know, Ralph. I love you. I am 78, and I have to agree with Clapton when he said, I will keep playing till they put me in the ground. And that's all we all want. That's what I intend. I'm only 54 years old. I don't know how much longer I got left. I could have 30 years or 5 minutes, and I don't give a shit. I'm going to play the whole time. And that's that. Fight me. Gonna happen. I don't care. And none of us do. The guys in this business that are truly in the business for the long run and for the sake of music, they're going to play till they die. That's what they do. And that's what I'm going to do. The same as you would. You don't retire from music. You just don't. It's unheard of. You don't just get up one day and go, well, I'm 65, I quit. No, fuck that. You keep going until you can't play anymore. And if it's really bad, I've seen some of my heroes play past their prime. And Gordy did a little bit, right? He did. His voice was getting thin. He was frail, but it didn't matter because everyone loved him so much. The same way as they loved Bill Monroe and Earl Scruggs and Doc Watson and Tony Rice to a certain extent, because he got off the road because he couldn't play anymore or sing. And he ended up having to quit. But that's the magic of it. That's the magic of, doing this for a living. This isn't a game. This is our life. And it's my life, and it's always been my life. And I'm going to struggle and fight and grab and crawl and fucking do anything I have to do to stay going on a stage with you. That's what makes it. That's it. That's the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters, you know? And fame doesn't matter, money doesn't matter, whatever, doesn't matter. It matters that when I go into a hall somewhere in, you know, Skim Milk, Iowa, that it's full. And there's hundreds of people there wanting to see me because they love me, or they haven't seen me yet and they want to see me live for the first time, or they've bought an album, and whatever the case may be. You end up in front of people who have supported you through everything that you've done. Bought records, watched YouTube, been whatever. It's our way. It's our only way to repay the kindness of strangers, right? And that was the magic of Lightfoot. No one was a stranger. He treated everyone like he knew them. And it was the way he got on stage, and the way he presented himself, and the way he sang, and the way he wrote. He talked to us like we were family. And that's the magic, and the magic we all hope to do. You know, when I get on stage in front of a large group of people, I want them to feel like they're in my living room. That's the key. And if anybody out there is watching this has ever presented me, or has bought the show and has interacted with me as an artist, buyer artist thing, they can all tell you the same thing. I hate being coddled. I don't like the diva bullshit. I don't like being introduced when I go on stage. I go on stage with the MC. That's always how I'm not interested in the hype of being a player. I want to meet my family, right? And the family are the people in the audience. And like more lessons from Lightfoot and people like him. That's how I was raised in this business. Was that it ain't just an audience. Those people are paying your bills. That's who they are. They're not just in this for fun. They've invested in you. They've invested their emotions and their tears and their laughter and their paychecks. You know, they've put money into your CDs and tickets and whatever the case may be. It's important. It's really important, right? Don't forget. I hope some of this is filtering through some of these fucking young guys who want to do this for a living. Watch carefully. Let's see here. Okay, now. Mark Foss, thank you for a super chat. Stephen Becker, Sudsy, my old buddy, who's going to be going on the road with me pretty soon, at the end of the month. He says, thanks for this. Lightfoot was one of a kind. Yes, sir, he was. Colin Ingram. Welcome back, buddy. I fell in love with your music because of the Long River album and Mr. Lightfoot at the same time. Ashley and I are thinking of you. Love you, Colin. Judith Shea sends a super chat. Love you, dear. Thank you very much. Thank you. Joe McGraw. Father was a big band nerd, but when Sundown came on radio, he always said it was very good. R.I.P. Gordon. There you go. Another man from a whole other genre of music got along with Lightfoot. As many of the people, I suppose, get along with all kinds of different acts. They're not expected to, right? That's the beauty of music. Mark Smith. Thank you, sir. Rest in peace, Mr. Lightfoot. Thanks for opening your heart up tonight, JP. You're a true talent and genuine person. P.S. Great clinic at the Claymore Friday night. Robin and his team are amazing. Thank you very much for being there. And thank you for supporting Boucher Guitars. Robin is one of my closest friends ever. And the magic of his instruments continues to inspire me and everyone who buys them. Yeah, what are you going to say? He's awesome. Jason Hopkins sent a big thank you and a super chat. Thank you very much. Sapporo. Let's see. All right. So, we are growing short of super chats. But that's okay. Because guess what? I just happen to have another Boucher here. I'm going to turn all the pretty reverb on again. Just because. I think we need another moment. Where the long river flows, it flows by my window. Where the tall timber grows, it grows round my door. Where the mountain meets the sky and the white clouds fly. Where the long river flows by my window. Now the tiny bird that calls, and it calls round my window. There's a lonely tear that falls, and it falls round my door. But when the sun is high, there's no time to cry. When the long river flows by my window. Closing of the day, if only you could be where the dawn breaks away by the white cascade down in the glade, where the long river flows by my window. Now when this land was made, it was made full of wonders. But one woman's love I can't understand, and I'd give it all to you if her love were true. Where the long river flows by my window. by my window. Turn off the fancy reverb. There we go, boys. Thank you. Thanks, Gord, for that song. Jesus. Off the first album, 1966. Let's see. What have we got? Oh, my God. Holy Jesus. Holy crap. Blair's Finson. On October 26, 2022 in Calgary, GL fell back on stage under the shroud of the drum kit in his opening song. The team assembled, presented oxygen. Minutes later, he took a chair and closed the night in style. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, I never heard that story. And that's heartbreaking and inspiring. You know, that's not long ago, you know. It's about 6 months ago. What are you going to do, right? The guy was unstoppable. He would have done it no matter what. No matter what, right? Ian Rossiter, super chat from Ian. Thank you, sir. Acoustic Guitar Canada. Love you guys so much. I saw your tributes on Facebook today. Thank you for that. JJ, any chance you'll re-release your Lightfoot album download or USB stick maybe? Long River, I think it's already available on Bandcamp. You can get it there. But I'm probably going to put it on iTunes and Spotify. It's an expensive album to upload because the mechanicals are outrageous. Because every song is Lightfoot's, right? But I'm going to do it because I just have to. And I'm going to make the second volume. I promise you that. Larry Reindress. Love you, buddy. Thank you, JP, for being so kind to all of us. No worries, buddy. Mark, hi. Thanks for being you, JP. I don't know what the hell that's worth, but you never know. Could be worth something. So anyhow, we're getting close down near the end here. And I can't thank you enough for coming in with me tonight and doing this. We're going to get copyright dinged all the shit, and I don't care. There's no way to really measure the exact influence that Lightfoot had on me and all of us. You know, if you're a guitar player and a singer, it's a 99% chance if you're Canadian that you've learned at least one Lightfoot song, and that you know his effect on what we did and what we are in this country is profound. I think even more so than another one of my close friends, Stompin' Tom. Tom was unassailable, right? Not many people learned his songs. He was so powerful as an entertainer that it seemed almost sacrilege to learn his songs. And they were novelty songs for the most part. They spoke of the whole country, and they were brilliant, and Tom was brilliant. But Lightfoot did something that was unlike any other artist. And it's even sometimes hard to put your finger on. I guess one of the main things he did was he brought our voice as a nation to the world. He played in the UK, he played in the United States. His albums sold all over the planet. His songs were covered and spun on the radio all over the planet. his version of us was a glowing one, you know, and one that made us proud to be us and proud of him. And in all my years, 41 years I've been in this business, I've heard every kind of story and gossip and rumor about any artist you want to talk about. But you know what I never heard anything bad about? Gordon Lightfoot. I have never in my entire life heard anything about Lightfoot that was bad or was questionable. As a matter of fact, in his later years, he cast more shade on himself than anybody ever did, which says something about who he was. But I have spent my whole life in this business, and everyone that I've ever encountered that met Gord or worked him or paid him or anything, anybody, they all had only the best, kindest, most beautiful memories of working with him and being around him. And no, the man wasn't a saint. Not by a long shot, and he would have told you that. But he managed to navigate his life and his art and his genius without seriously crushing anybody, you know? And that's something to say. You know, a lot of people were successful in life, and there was a few folks got walked on, you know? Not Lightfoot. Lightfoot made his own way, his own vision, and left the door open for all of us behind him. How can you beat that? I'm going to take the last few questions, and I got the trivia question for tonight. Okay, so we're out of super chats. Yes. So this is an easy, well, potentially, I suppose. The question that's going to get you on the big draw list, which is over there on the table. I'll have to step over there and get it. The question is this. What year did Lightfoot's first album come out, and what was it called? That's the question. That's the question for everybody tonight. Let me grab the list. The list of lists. The list of lists. Here it is. So the first one I got. Okay, Peter Alicia, you've got the year right and the title wrong. Okay, Not Slow Freddy. You're the first one. You are number 14. Not Slow Freddy. We will find you if you win. Which you could. And the answer, of course, was Not So Freddy. Oh, wait a minute now. It's wrong. Sorry, my eyesight's failing. It's not So Freddy. Holy crap. There we go. Bram Avery finally got it. You're already on there. Can't take you. Steve Shirley. You're the first one right. The correct answer is 1966, and it was called Lightfoot with an exclamation point. So Steve Shirley. Sorry about Slow Freddy. You had it the wrong year, 1969. It was 66. Steve Shirley, you are in. You're number 14. 14, yes. Okay, and so then the next right answer is right after Steve. Kenny Chalafew Music. So you will be number 15. Kenny Chalafew Music. All right, there you go. There's 2 more people. We're up to 15 on a list of 50. There's going to be a rather large draw this summer, late summer, early fall. And there you go. Let's see. I'm going to leave you with a Lightfoot song because I just don't give a shit. As I said before, I want to thank you all for spending the evening with me. And you made this better. Thank you. It was a tough start. I wasn't sure how I was going to get through the night, but you guys helped me do it, and I love you for that. And I hope you stay with us. If you haven't hit subscribe, please do, and be on the lookout for reviews. There's ones coming up every Monday night now, and that's about all I can say. Thank you. Thank you for being with us for over 3 years now. And I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for all of you and all the people that subscribe every month. We're beating the crap out of our own view minute records all the time. And it's all because of you. The people that support string theory, and they continue to tell other people about it. And it isn't just that; it's the guitar stuff with John and the life and music and the live concerts. There's going to be more live concerts this year too, here from the barn. So there we go, boys. Love yous, and I love Gordy. Wherever he is tonight. We'll never forget him. All the neon lights were flashing and the icy wind did blow. Water seeped into his shoes and the drizzle turned to snow. His eyes were red, his hopes were dead, and the wine was running low. And the old man came home from the forest. His tears fell on the sidewalk as he stumbled in the street. A dozen faces stopped to stare, but no one stopped to speak. For his castle was a hallway and the bottle was his friend. And the old man stumbled in from the forest. Up a dark and dingy staircase, the old man made his way. His ragged coat around him as upon his cot he lay. And he wondered how it happened that he ended up this way, getting lost like a fool in the forest. And as he lay there sleeping, a vision did appear. Upon his mantle shining the face of one so dear, who loved him in the springtime in a long forgotten year, where the wildflowers did bloom in the forest. She touched his grizzled fingers and she called him by his name. Then he heard the joyful sound of children at their games in a farmhouse on a hillside in some forgotten town where the river runs down from the forest. With a mighty roar, the big jets soar above the canyon streets. And the con men con, but life goes on, for the city never sleeps. And to an old forgotten soldier, the dawn will come no more. For the old man has come home from the forest. See you later, Gord. And we'll see you all next week. Love you.